Here goes nothing. Cheers! Hi, I'm Sarah Garcia, and this is my new podcast. Pause. Retake. Okay. I'm Sarah Garcia, and you're watching Sinsara. Welcome to the very first episode of Sinsara. Just for context, this is gonna be an open space where we'll be talking about sexual health and wellness, and we'll be addressing some topics revolving intimacy traumas, fighting stigmas, and so much more. I'm starting Sinsara because I want to fight for the people who have no voice, because at one point in time I was that person. I think we'll get into that or delve into that a little bit later, but with Sinsara I get to advocate on behalf of other people, and in some form or fashion this is my revenge, and I am no longer silenced. So let's get into it. I guess to start things off, I will give you some context or some background about Sinsara and how I came about this. I came up with this idea probably about 10 years ago now, and I just kept pushing things aside, and honestly thank God that I did, because I could not even imagine the type of chaos that I would have led you to at that point in time in my life. I definitely went down a deep, dark path, and it would have been no good for anybody. But it took me a very, very long time to get in a place where I feel in control of my body and I feel genuinely happy. And I'm hoping to create those opportunities for you as well. So ask me questions you've been embarrassed or too embarrassed to ask other people. Each week I'll try to respond and tackle some topics that truly matter and that are relevant in today's space. Topics anywhere from consent and communication, anatomy and pleasure, and just the mental health aspects and relationships. So again, just opening these topics to you guys. Just leave some comments, leave some questions. I am so nervous and I'm so new to this, so any type of help would be super beneficial. I do just want to preface before anything else that this segment will be pretty heavy, and I recognize that. I think that most of our conversations will have some weight to them. Despite that, I think that they're important to tackle. I understand that maybe we're not all at the same stages in our healing process, and that's okay, but I will be educating. I also intend to be a little playful and try to keep things light throughout the process. It's important that I don't necessarily lecture you so you guys fall asleep through these conversations. This is not health class. I'm not trying to bore you guys to death. I'm mostly choosing to keep things light because we deserve to have fun, and we should not feel guilty about regaining control of our lives again. That being said, trauma is subjective. It looks different for everybody. Sometimes it's being taken advantage of, and sometimes it's a medical trauma like vaginismus, which, for those of you who don't know, vaginismus is when the vaginal canal tightens up upon penetration and just makes it extremely uncomfortable and sometimes even painful. Whatever your story looks like, it is valid. My hope is that you'll walk away from this episode feeling seen, supported, and reminded that recovery is absolutely possible. Quick note though, I am not your therapist. This is just a video podcast. for education and for support. I am a yapper, but I am not a professional by any means. I am not a therapist, a counselor, or a physician of any sort. I'm merely just here for support and hopefully being able to talk to these professionals and get you guys in touch with them depending on your needs. If you do need help, however, please reach out to a trauma-informed therapist or counselor. Therapy is hot. Don't forget that. Get the help that you need. Get the help that you deserve. You got this. We've got this. Again, if you have specific needs or conversations that you want me to address, please just leave a comment below. I truly want this to be about you guys and your healing, so don't be timid. Like I've said before, this has taken me 10 years, 10 freaking years. So if you're listening right now and you're thinking, why can I not just move on already? Baby, please know that you are not behind and this is your own journey. With that being said, let's talk about stages. When I say stages, I mean stages of grieving, and when I mean grieving your trauma. According to my research, experts say there are about 5 to 6 different stages, just depending on who you ask. But let's be so for real. These grieving stages, they are not video games. This is not once you get past level 1, you unlock a next level. No, this is more of like phasing in and out. You will be gliding between some of these phases. Some days are going to be better than others, and then some days you will reach an all-time low. Here's the breakdown. So experts have identified, again, these 5 to 6 stages. First stage being shock and denial. This is the wait, did this even really happen stage. You might avoid talking about it, act like everything's fine, or even distract yourself with literally anything else. Like your ADHD is kicking in, you are scrubbing the corners that haven't been scrubbed in 10 years, type distracting yourself. Anything to get yourself to like not think. This is essentially your brain hitting the snooze button on its feelings. Stage 2 is intrusion and processing, aka when your brain will not shut the up. Flashbacks of what if thoughts, replaying the moment. It's literally like a TikTok sound loop. You know, the one that goes, nothing beats a Jet 2 holiday. Yeah, it's literally that sound loop that pops into your head randomly throughout the day and you just can't stop thinking about it. Annoying? Yeah, but it's your brain just trying to process what exactly has happened. Stage 3, withdrawal and avoidance. This is the hermit era. And I want to talk about this just a little bit more, but basically you pull back emotionally and physically and you avoid intimacy at pretty much all costs. You maybe even ghost the idea of sex altogether, but it's your body, again, just saying that it's not safe yet. With withdrawal and avoidance, you can really fall in love with this state. It's almost like depression can consume you. I always like to relate this to the TikTok that's like, people are so depressed that they can't brush their teeth, and then some other woman chimes in and is like, people are so depressed they kill themselves. This is absolutely where you just clam up and you can again fall so in love with this mental state that it's agonizing to crawl your way out of it. I remember falling in such a deep depression that I just never wanted to leave the house. I was so comfortable in that state. I was so comfortable being alone that nothing even really seemed to matter, and I was okay with that. And again, it's so agonizing to get yourself out, and you start to dread wanting to go out with your friends, and you start to dread just literally little life things, little life things. Okay, so that was stage 3. Stage 4, meaning making and understanding. This is when you start to kind of untangle the why. Honestly, you're gonna need a lot of support, because with support, you begin to realize that this situation, this trauma, this pain was not your fault at all. Full stop. It's not your fault at all. You might start to feel anger or sadness, and honestly, feeling anything other than depressed is great progress. I've recently been rewatching The Vampire Diaries, and it's like when you shut off, or when Steph and Salvatore just shut off their emotions, and as they try to get themselves back in the groove of turning them back on, they literally feel anything at all, and it's progress. That's how I can relate this stage. Again, you might start to feel anger, sadness, grief, but clarity begins to finally shine through. Shine bright like a diamond. Shine bright like a... Stage 5 is reconnection and reclaiming. So this is the glow up phase. By this time, you're slowly starting to build trust again. Setting boundaries is really important in this stage, and then exploring intimacy on your terms. Everything should be on your terms. This is where, again, you just start to feel like you're regaining control of your story, which I can't express to you enough. This will happen. You will get there. Stage 6 is integration and growth. And finally, you see the main character arc. Trauma becomes a chapter in your book, and it stops becoming the entire storyline. So many people actually experience post-traumatic growth, finding deeper self-awareness and even new strengths. And I can honestly say, been there, done that. I have a new sense of empowerment, if I'm totally honest with you. There are so many people out there that will tell you that by this stage, the trauma doesn't define you anymore. And as somebody who has experienced trauma themselves, I am here to tell you that they are wrong. I'll explain. So, trauma, no matter the magnitude, will always define you. And I say this because you now have this new experience that practically altered who you are. Like, I genuinely cannot say that I am the same person as I was before. I feel that for me personally, I grew more empathy for people. I am now more prone to speak up. I feel stronger. I have no problem voicing things. Yeah, now, because I've felt the pain of being voiceless, I never want that again. And so the people who say trauma does not define you can respectfully off, because it does. But it can define you in a beautiful way. Anyways, to be completely frank with you, your trauma can either eat you alive, or you can choose to make it your superpower. And that decision is completely in your hands. Now that we've kind of discussed the stages, I want to transition into some of the techniques that can actually help. Here we go. So again, according to my research, grounding techniques tend to be extremely helpful for people who have gone through a trauma. This is deep breaths, focusing on things you can see or touch, especially when you get triggered. So, and identifying triggers is extremely important as well. For me, I am very tactile, so obviously this is so out of my freaking comfort zone. I feel like an insane person just talking to a camera right now. But I have Sammy, which is my childhood baby. So again, tactile, just like grabbing onto something. If I don't have Sammy, I hopefully have like an emotional water bottle that I can grip onto. If I'm really struggling to find something, I'll grab my keys and just like fidget a little, literally anything. So grounding techniques. Second technique would be open communication, and I completely understand this is way easier said than done, but being able to tell your partner, hey, I need to slow down, or this doesn't feel safe, or I feel uncomfortable right now, just keeping things open and honest. But also communication stems way past just communicating with your partner. This could go anywhere from chatting with your girlfriends to just people that you trust in general. Be open about your experience, be open about your sex life, triggers, so on and so forth. It's really important that you get your story out there, but it's even more important to spread awareness so that this doesn't happen to anybody else, so that women and people who are affected by this trauma are able to identify some of these telltale signs. Moving on to the third technique. This is so cliche, but I don't care. Therapy. Freaking therapy. I said it before and I'll say it again. Therapy is so hot. Get into it. Especially trauma-informed sex therapy, because mental health and intimacy are deeply connected. If you are not right here, you will not be right anyplace else. I am a strong believer in, again, relying on your friends and the people that you trust, but some things are very difficult to open up about. I still have things that I haven't fully told some of my girlfriends, and that's okay. It's not me being unauthentic. It's purely just I'm not ready to share. But I feel that therapy has given me an outlet where I can share every bit of my experience without necessarily feeling judged or fear that my closest friends will look at me differently. So again, therapy is just a blessing. It's somebody who holds confidentiality and will not be able to tell your story to just anyone. My last and final piece of advice here is just to be patient and compassionate to yourself. It's okay to be angry, it's okay to be emotional, and it's okay to be that. It is okay. If there's one thing that comes from this though, it will be strength. Unfortunately, you have to find that later on, but it will come. You are not broken. Trauma is something that happened to you. It's not who you are. You are allowed to move on. You are allowed to laugh again. You are allowed to love again. And you are allowed to move at your own timeline. If you're in the middle of this journey, please know that you don't have to do it alone. There are resources, communities ready to support you, and I will link some of those resources down below in the description section. If you made it this far, thank you so much for sticking around for the very first episode. If you found this to be particularly helpful, please hit the follow button and leave a comment with, again, any questions or thoughts that you may have for me. Share this with a friend who deserves to have better conversations revolving around sexual health. Next time, I don't exactly know what we're gonna cover next time. Again, I'm super new to this. This is only the first video. I hope you guys like it, but it's unfortunately gonna have to be a surprise for the both of us. I really want to see kind of some of your guys' takeaways and see what you comment or things that you want me to hit on. And yeah, but you won't want to miss it. Until then, though, just remember that your sexual wellness is a vital part of your whole wellness, and you deserve to feel healthy, confident, and fully yourself. So I hope, again, you guys liked the video, and I will see you next time.